Welcome to Let's Get Gaming. I've taken a look at the new Citadel Contrast colors that were announced earlier this week, and I have kind of broken down my thoughts on them. And so here are those thoughts a little bit more now that I've had time to kind of think through this and look through it. First thing is, this is the order that Citadel presented these colors in, and I have obviously cut them out of their image because what I've done is I've actually rearranged them into what I would think is a more logical color order. So this is organized in like a rainbow color pattern: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And so we do have a good mix of all of these. You'll notice it is a little heavier on some colors than others. I think that's just, one, gaps in the range, and then also those colors might be more popular for painting miniatures. As much as I would like to see 8 different colors of orange, not everyone is as big a fan of orange as I am. So speaking of orange, and here's the orange and reds. So I cut out the pictures of the models and the pictures of the paint pots and put them on here so we can kind of see what is coming and compare that to maybe what we have existing. And for existing, the only swatches I could find from Citadel are these images that they have, on their store. So here we go. We have Doomfire Magenta and Ball Red. 2 definitely new colors here. It does look like Ball Red is going to be a little bit lighter than our lightest shade of the Contrast Red. And of course, Magenta is kind of a new color as well. And that color, I believe we're going to be seeing again a little later along with the purples. So definitely some welcome additions there. This Magma Droth Flame, definitely a lighter orange it looks like than the orange we have. So again, a very welcome color and certainly a new one for this series. The yellows, we have 3, I want to call them, very similar looking yellows. Now, you do look at them and you do notice just a little bit of difference. So Imperial Fist yellow looks like it might be a completely transparent yellow. So that's something we've noticed with the Citadel contrast, and then also with the Army Painter speed paints, that you have a difference between, is it actually transparent, like is it clear, not colorless, but clear, or is it actually an opaque color and it's going to cover a little better. So it looks like Imperial Fist might be a transparent color versus like Iron Jaw's yellow, not as much, and also Iron Jaw's yellow looks a little darker. I think these are great additions because I've not been a fan of any of the yellow contrast paints so far. They're good, they're fine, but I think these colors are going to be better. Are they too similar? I don't know yet. I don't have my hands on them yet, but I'm really eager to see how these 3 are different and then help you find which one is going to work for you. So I'm hoping to get my hands on those very soon after they release. Greens, we have a bunch of greens already in the line, but here we have 4 new greens, and they're, I want to say, mostly pretty different. So we have this Gut Rip of Flesh, which we have 2 similar colors to, and this is, by the way, in the existing, it's the order they're presented on the Games Workshop website. So you can go and look at those. I didn't put the names by them. They're the existing colors. Mostly what we care about is not the old color names, but are these new colors different? Gut Rip of Flesh looks to be a lot lighter than any of these, and it's very, specifically tailored for the Gut Rippas, so that's great. Mantis Warriors Green. I want to get this beside some Tesseract Glow. I'm really excited for this color. I think it could be a cool color to get that same effect without some of the, brightness or shininess of the Tesseract Glow. So very eager to get my hands on that. Striking Scorpion and Karendros Green. Both lighter greens and brighter greens. So that Striking Scorpion, very neon green. Karendros Green is, I think, what we all hoped maybe Warpstone Glow would be. You can check out an earlier episode of Let's Get Gaming where we did a color compare and found that the orc skin color and the Warpstone, not Warpstone Glow, I just said the name of it, now I forget it. But the two existing contrast greens, they're very close. So I think this Caradros green will be more of a, or it's Warp Lightning. That's the name of it. What have I been saying? Anyways, they're much more lighter than either of those, so I think it'll be some welcome additions to the line. We'll see if anything goes away. They didn't announce anything going away, so I'd be surprised if anything went away immediately, but it might be phased out if they find it redundant. Teals. Now, this is really cool because if you look in the existing teals, you'll notice they're all very similar in color. And so we have Storm Fiend here, which is definitely on the darker side of this. Almost looks really close to some of these existing colors, but if you look at the model above it, you'll notice, I think, it settles a lot deeper in those recesses and gives us a lot higher range of contrast. And so that's, I think, what we're going to see with some of these contrast paints is some with a higher level of contrast. That is, they have, deeper recesses and lighter lights. And you find some that are more flat, and they're just flatter all over. So I think we have a little bit mix of both here. Some of these images were really small, so blowing them up got them pretty pixelated, but you can still see that Eldari Emerald, nice light teal, loving that color. Croxagore Scales, a little bit more saturated, a little more teal-y than any of the existing teals. More on that green side, love that. And we have our Briar Queen Chill, which I think is going to be just a cool effect to add to lots of different miniatures. Blues. We had a very limited supply of blues, and I am so excited to have some more. So we have this Pilar Glacier. It looks a lot like that Briar Queen Chill, but blue instead of a tealy green. We have Frostheart, this nice light bright blue. I'm so excited for that. We have this Acerman Blue, and that looks like it's got some really good contrast to it and is a nice brighter blue color than we've had before. And we got this Celestium Blue, which looks very similar to colors we have, but again, it looks like it might provide more of that deeper deeps and lighter lights than what we're used to. Here in the purples, so we do see Doomfire Magenta again, but really we were lacking in purple. We had a nice dark purple and a very light purple. So we've added a lighter purple, this Dreadful Visage, there on the end, and then we have Sigvald Burgundy. That is a brand new color. Really loving that. I think some of the Caradron Overlord players that need a burgundy color might find that to be useful. I don't know. You have to let me know if you paint Caradron Overlords. I have some laying around here somewhere that need painting, so I'll probably try it out. Then we have Leviathan Purple. Still not sure if that's darker than Shyish Purple. It might actually be lighter, but it does look like it has lighter lights and darker darks on it, so a nice big range of contrast. I don't know, we'll see. Then we have this Luxian Purple, which is definitely a lighter purple color. Very bright, very bold. And now we have the browns and grays. And so we have this Rattling Grime. I think this is going to be maybe more of an effects paint. It almost reminds me of the like Typhus Corrosion or something like that. We have this Garaghax Sewer, and that looks like it has super good contrast. Almost looks like we painted that model, the sample model, and then dry brushed a nice light color over it. It just looks beautiful, and in one coat, I assume that's looking great. Black Legion, gonna fill in. I didn't put the gray or the black that we already have here, but this looks like a middle of the road between them. All in all here, great new colors. I don't think we have anything that does this right now, so these are very welcome. Now I've divided these out into a few different categories. Here's the colors I think have a good deep highlight and contrast. That is, I think the darks are dark, the lights are light. You can see a big difference in them. These are all colors that I'm really excited for because they look like they do what contrast should do. And so you can kind of take a look at them here. Probably the least true here is maybe that Frostheart, but I don't know. I'm liking all of these as far as the recesses are dark, the raised areas are light, has a good contrast between those areas. That's the whole point of contrast paint. So these are the ones that I'm very excited for in that regard. Honorable mentions, these ones definitely do a good job, but aren't quite as stark. So we have our first yellow here, Iron Jaw's yellow. Seemed like the one that was giving the most, shadiness of all those yellows. But then all of these colors look like they're going to do just fine as far as recesses and things like that. So I'm happy with these. These colors fall into my seemingly flat category. And that is, I'm looking at them and I'm saying, hey, they just don't look like they have two darks of darks. They seem very one color when they're put on. So that, there's not a lot of shade in the recesses, not a lot of highlight on the high areas. I'm really curious to see these in person on models to know more. But we want to take a look at these ones because I'm wondering kind of what's going on with them. And actually, I have a little bit of insight into that. And I'll share that here as we look at the poor highlight contrast. But one thing quick on this is I don't know that poor contrast is actually a con on these colors. These two colors were obviously made for Space Marines. I mean, can you tell? They're on Space Marines. And Space Marine armor we do want to be very uniform in color, and so that's one of the challenges of contrast painting or speed painting a Space Marine, is you might not get that. So maybe it's a feature for these colors, not a bug. The little bit of insight here is the new shade and wash line. They've actually kind of said that this reformulation is something that could be put over contrast paint. That's something I don't think we've really thought of before, is shading our contrast paint. To me, contrast paint is meant to shade itself, so that's part of why I did these categories here and say, I don't know what I'm a fan of. All right, here's my must-haves. These are the colors that I am going to absolutely be picking up on release day for me, for my own personal painting. So just going through these really quick. Croxiger Scale is a nice teal color. We just don't have anything quite like that in the Citadel range at all. Army Painter's got a speed paint that might give that one a run for its money. I'm curious to compare them. Briar Queen Chill, I do have a bunch of Night Haunt that are waiting for some paint, so I'm going to definitely be checking that out. Iron Jaw's yellow, I really love that there's a yellow contrast paint coming out that's actually looks like a really good yellow with good shading. Really excited for that. Magma Draw Flame, I have to pick it up because it's orange. I mean, I don't have any more to say about that. It's orange, I'm buying it. Frostheart, just again, that color looks so good. Stormfiend, basically all the rest of the five except for Rattling Grime, I love how they go on the model, and the recesses are dark and the high areas are light. So Stormfiend, same with Mantis Warriors Green, and also comparing it to that Tesseract Glow. Rattling Grime, I want to use as an effect paint, try that out, so I'm going to get my hands on some of that. Garagax Sewer, I think I'm going to have fun trying to speed paint maybe some vehicles, kind of like they did the Kill a Can here with that, so I'm going to definitely be playing with that. And the Sigvald Burgundy just seems so cool, I just can't not get it, right? I have to get some of that. It looks so neat, and the way it settles into those recesses and shades them so nicely. I am excited for that. So that's my, hot takes of the new Citadel Contrast Paints. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this video was useful to you. Take care. Let's get gaming.